focus on platform concept, but
Yes.
Nowadays, the digital technology, for example, AI or blockchain,
Yes.
evolved. Platform evolved into the digital platform, but
Yes.
main study in nowadays just focus on platform concept. So I suggest the digital platform in point of view technology innovation.
Okay.
And I suggest a new theory to applicable in digital platform ecosystem. For example, affordance theory and relational of contract is a new approach, just my study.
Okay. For example, at the moment, personally, I'm interested in the surveillance of capitalism. So maybe the third party is important to fair relationship for all just parties. Maybe the third party is sometimes important in the position. Just a fair approach to the, all parties. At the moment, how about the application? Of course, at the moment, you said just a set theory or just fuzzy set analysis. But how about the game theory approach to just share? Okay, it's just a win-win relationship to all parties.
Yeah.
So you have to compare of just Pareto optimums and solution. To compare, if you maybe you can compare the another approach as a benchmark to compare your uniqueness or your much better your performance compared to your to show your strongness of your studies. How was such kind of possibility compared to the game theory approach?
Yeah. The game theory is I also reviewed into apply to this theory, but FSQC is originated from set theory. So first of all, I focus on set theory, and then I also look into game theory.
Because sometimes fuzzy or set seems it's like the just a black box approach, black box. Yeah. Because sometimes we cannot understand completely just mechanisms of the calculation insights. Okay, just using just a software. As just a blindness. Sometimes AI is a good as a performance, but sometimes we cannot understand the inside mechanisms to calculate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So of course, and of course, you can just certifies just output of the result, but sometimes we have to doubt. For example, we have to improve our understanding of insight mechanisms, I think. Okay. And if so, how about your just proposal to going to just win-win relationships? All parties maximize the satisfaction. For example, sometimes we have to cannot stop at some level. Okay, we have to change our relationship more, improve our relationship. So, how about your future direction from this your finding result to direction to future?
Future direction?
Yeah.
I will study more the 100 full digital platform company, and I will show new concept for applicable digital platform ecosystem. And I know this, I write the limitation. I will compare then regression and quantitative research, because this concept is a combined method, and we need more a quantitative research compared than this FSQCA.
Okay.
So I will study future.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much. How about any question or comment to this first presentation from Flora? How about a professor, another just a co or just moderators? Do you have any question, Professor King? How about your a comment or a question to him, Professor? No. How about another students? I think this analysis is very excellent, I think. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How about sharing, for example, if you consider about the fairness, for example, from third party and the person, how about fairness? For example, in case of game theory, we consider about just value increase by sharing with another person some important value, and not only private but open. And value for knowledge, for example, some person important information. And how about this kind of sharing of some value with another person?
Sharing.
Do you have any suggestion to from your perspective to in this study?
I don't concern about that. Yeah.
Okay. So if so, thanks so much. And,
thank you.
A good, nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How about the second presenter? Very sorry, Professor. Sorry. Professor, do you have any question or comment? Professor King? No? Professor, do you have any comment or question to him? You are also, do you have any question or comment to him? No? Sorry. Sorry, I forgot your name. Is Professor Wong or Professor Kings?
Yeah. So one small comment. Yeah. Platform owner is very strong. So the collaboration between complements and the platform owner is difficult. As you know, Kakao had been going to small market and social problem happened. How to solve this social problem, Mr. Wong?
Yeah. I know the third party and platform owner have some problem, as you know, but I want to present the relationship of third party and platform owner is changed because of from digital platform to change it from platform into digital platform. For example, when we making smart speaker, AI speaker, we need two parties. One party is third party. Third party make a speaker, just a speaker, and platform owner provide the intelligent software. For example, Genie or Clover. This collaboration is very important nowadays, especially when we want to make intelligent products. That is the important point of previous situation, because when we make just a speaker, there are so many kind of third party, and platform owner just choose one company is very unequal. But digital platform situation, third party have domain knowledge and agility, so it changes the situation. So I know, of course, the real situation is inadequate, but I want to assist the equation situation change. So it's my important point.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks so much, Professor. So we will enter into the second and presentation. Who is the second presenter?
Oh, Professor Fujiwara,
Yes.
nice to meet you. And,
nice to meet you.
And we were contacted to prepare a PPT as a recording file. So,
okay.
Please, we would appreciate if you could watch the recording file. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, please prepare.
Hello, I am Young-Gyun in today's speech, and I am a senior researcher at the Korea Maritime Institute Shipping and Logistics Research Division. And also, I am now in Doctor Candidate in Department of Science and Technology Policy of Bugyeong National University. Presentation title is Strategies for the Shipping and Logistics Industry in the Post-Corona Era. Thank you for your time today. This slide shows the topics I'll be covering in today's presentation. I would like to first give you an overview of the current situation of the maritime shipping and logistics industry during the COVID era, and then I would like to talk about the maritime and logistics industry's response plan for the post-COVID era. In the first part of my presentation, I will talk about the current state of the maritime and logistics industry in the COVID era. The first feature of the maritime shipping and logistics industry in the COVID era that I would like to highlight is the excessive maritime transport abnormalities. One of the major phenomena that will reflect the excessive maritime transport abnormalities is the skyrocketing freight rates of container ships. Container ships are continuing to have historically high freight rates even in 2021 now. For example, the SCFI, Shanghai Containerized Freight Index average was recorded as 2,780 in the first quarter of 2021, which was a 41% increase compared to the average of 1,975 in the first quarter of the previous year, and this high freight rate is expected to continue throughout this year as well. Shipping demand has been growing since the first quarter of 2020, and there is a shortage of tonnage. As a result, shipping companies are currently adding premiums to their freight rate. Please see the figure below for the annual and quarterly progress of the SCFI. Another phenomenon that reflects this excessive maritime transport abnormalities is port congestion and the difficulties of procuring tonnage. The number of port calls is increasing with the recent easing of COVID-19, but there are delays in handling port volume due to a shortage of port labor. Port congestion has led to a shortage in available tonnage, and this is causing difficulties in procuring tonnage. The table on the left shows the number of port calls, particularly for ASEAN ports. The number of port calls dropped rapidly in 2020, but it is being restored in 2021. The table on the right shows the port congestion index. It hit a record high on March 19 of 2022 and then began to drop in 2021, but then recorded 2.26 in the second quarter of 2021, thus showing that it is still very high. Another phenomenon that reflects the excessive maritime transport abnormalities is scarcity of container boxes. There was a circulation imbalance of container boxes due to the pandemic. The circulation imbalance was due to an imbalance between intercontinental imports and exports, and this is because of the higher quantity of imports of North America compared to Asia. Therefore, there are many container boxes currently piled up in North America. The table at the bottom left demonstrates that because container boxes are not rotating smoothly, the number of annual round trips of the east-west seaway is dropped from 6 prior to COVID down to 4.8 times after COVID. In the table at the bottom left, you can see that as container port stay times becomes longer, the time it takes for one round trip of containers in the east-west seaway has increased from 65 days to 100 days. The table at the bottom right shows that the prices of container boxes have risen sharply. 40-feet container was $3,070 per box on average prior to COVID, but the average price skyrocketed by approximately 8% to reach $6,000 as of February 2021. Another feature of the maritime shipping and logistics industry in the COVID area is reshoring. COVID-19 has resulted in companies stopping overseas entries, mainly in the manufacturing industry, while accelerating the reshoring of production facilities back to their homeland. Due to the pandemic, manufacturing companies around the world are no longer making cost reduction their highest priority. Production in places that are safer and where they are clearly able to transport the product by the deadline is becoming preferred. Reshoring may have a negative impact on marine shipping volume due to a decrease in ton mileage. The table shows the results of surveys conducted on Korean and Japanese companies regarding their future COVID-19 response strategies. Companies in both nations responded that they have plans to substitute domestically, particularly in Japan. They have plans to reduce the scale of their Chinese logistics chain and move them to Southeast Asia. Another major issue for the maritime and logistics industry in the COVID area is difficulty in seafarer rotation. Major maritime shipping companies temporarily suspended seafarer rotations to reduce the risk of infection due to movement and rotations of seafarers. It is necessary to focus on seafarers who are restricted from freely embarking and disembarking as the virus spreads. Delayed rotations have a negative impact on the health and welfare of seafarers and may lower navigational safety. It is judged that it will be necessary to review whether to designate seafarers as a core workforce based on the emergency situation of COVID-19 and provide appropriate safety devices, including embarkation and the landing right. Please look at the PPT slide for details. In part 2, I would like to talk about the response plans of the maritime and logistics industry in the COVID area. One of the major response strategies of the maritime shipping and logistics industry in the COVID area is digitalization. Digitalization refers to being able to freely and safely collect, share, analyze, and send large volumes of data. It has analyzed that various technologies associated with the first industrial revolution, such as AI, blockchain, and IoT are needed for the digitalization of the maritime shipping and logistics industry. The COVID shock has resulted in the contact-free age, and the age in which competitiveness is determined by a company's capacity for digitalization has arrived. The importance of digitalization in the post-COVID age is expected to continue to increase. The priority for survival of the maritime shipping and logistics industry in the post-COVID area is digitalization. Optimizing fleet management and planning for business continuity using digital methods will become the new survival strategy for the COVID area. Digitalization is becoming the new normal for the maritime industry, and the level of digitalization will determine the overall competitiveness of maritime companies. The figure below shows the changing trends in the maritime shipping and logistics industry, the advent of the digitalization area.
Recording in progress.
For example, with the introduction of digitalization, the use of first industrial revolution technologies is growing production bases are being diversified, and contact-free operations and contact-free tonnage reservations are growing. There are also many other changes occurring, such as constructing platforms to pursue maximum efficiency of digitalization. I would like to now introduce the Korean government response plan for digitalization. In July 22, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries of Korea announced the Korean New Deal Master Plan as a COVID-19 response strategy. As part of the New Deal Master Plan, it announced the 3 action plans of construction of a maritime fisheries big data platform, digital transformation of a maritime port infrastructure, and construction of a smart maritime logistics system for the digital transformation of Korea's maritime fisheries industry. Please see the PPT slide for details on the policies related to the 3 action plans mentioned above. The next major response strategy of the maritime shipping and logistics industry in the COVID area is decarbonization. Decarbonization reflects to reducing carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions. Decarbonization is accelerating in the post-COVID area. It is easy to see the effort to protect the ocean environment and to construct eco-friendly business ecosystems that are taking place in the post-COVID area. Meanwhile, the IMO, International Maritime Organization, announced regulations related to decarbonization, such as coming up with strategies to reduce greenhouse gases for the decarbonization of maritime shipping and logistics industry. According to the IMO, international maritime shipping must mitigate carbon dioxide emissions for transport work by 40% compared to 2008 levels by 2030, and by 70% compared to 2008 levels by 2050. In addition, it has become mandatory to reduce annual greenhouse gas emissions by 50% or more by 2050, again compared to 2008 levels. It is thus anticipated that the decarbonization of the maritime shipping and logistics industry will pick up speed due to the regulations being mandated by the IMO, as well as the numerous other factors. Next, I will introduce the response plan by the Korean government for decarbonization. As explained earlier in July 22, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries of Korea announced the Korean New Deal Master Plan as a response strategy against COVID-19. Within the New Deal Master Plan, 2 action plans for the green transformation of the Korean maritime fisheries industry, such as entering a new market for eco-friendly ships and preservation of the ocean ecosystem and establishing of green innovation bases for maritime spaces were announced. Please see the PPT slide for details on the policies that correspond with the action plans mentioned above. Next, I will make a proposal for a future study for our ASIP. Please see the more details for our joint research plan. Of the joint research with institutes participating in ASIP, research topic is studies on digitalization or decarbonization. And I would like to propose our future research related to first, preemptively tackle global maritime and logistics issues and in-depth studies on relevant research topics. And second, I would like to improve research cooperation between ASIP participating institutes. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much for very interesting and topic presentation. how can feedback our question comment to the presentators? Oh, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Professor Young-Gyun from Bugyeong National University. I'm a discussion for this presentation.
Yes.
So thank you for Mr. An for information and insights. And I would like to start my talk with the summary of the presentation. And
Yes.
he pointed out the three major issues caused by the COVID-19 in the maritime and logistics industry.
Yes.
First, the container ship freight rates and port congestion have been significantly increased due to the increase of the maritime transport volumes.
Yes.
And second, the reshoring is accelerated in the pandemic situation. And third, the problems that relate to the seafarers are also raised in the pandemic situation.
Okay.
And Mr. An suggests the industrial strategies for the maritime and logistics industry in the post-COVID era. And
Yes.
he mentioned the maritime and logistics industry should look at the digitalization and decarbonization.
Mm.
So he also introduced the Digital New Deal program and the Green New Deal program from the Korean government. And he introduced the major action plans related to the maritime and the logistics industries.
Yes.
So then I would like to suggest some research topics related to the presentation. So I believe the digitalization will be achieved only when the data in various places is properly integrated. So, however, the more important thing is increasing the availability and accessibility of data.
Yes.
So, data open issues have been raised for a long time, but it seems that the data is both public and private sectors are still not well shared. So, I think it would be interesting if we look at the hurdles in data open issues and sharing issues in maritime and logistics industry, and investigate the priority of the problem solving. And based on this research, I expect that we can suggest the policy options to promote the utilizing big data for the digitalization in
Recording
maritime
stopped.
Logistics industry. In addition, as you know, most innovations have
Recording in progress.
significant difficulties in diffusion process. So the adoption of digitalization requires many changes in working processes. So therefore, in order to stably establish the digitalization, it is necessary to accurately evaluate the acceptance of the digital technologies and construct the strategies to increase the acceptability. For that, we can find the core attributes of new technologies, products, or the service introduced with the digitalization in the maritime and logistics industry, and evaluate the attitude of potential adopters toward the new technologies. Then we can suggest the policy options and to increase the technological acceptance. And finally, regarding to the promoting the decarbonization in maritime and logistics industry, the economic feasibility analysis is also important. In general, the benefits of the investigating and adopting environmental technologies are difficult to observe. So sometimes it is hard to continue the investing in development and introduction of environmental technologies. So in these situations, the economic feasibility analysis can be the evidence for the policy decisions and can be a driving force for the continuous policy implementation. So I think I believe that the policy roadmap for the decarbonization in maritime and logistics industry can be derived by the result of the economic feasibility analysis. So this is all my opinion. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Very interesting opinions. How about another professor? How about the co-moderators? Another professor, do you have any question, comment to this second presentation? Okay, how about the female students? Huh? How about your question, comment?
From me?
Yes.
Actually, I'm only female, the participant of this meeting, actually, but I'm not expert in maritime or kind of relevant research, but I'm just wonder and have an interest in the point of GSG emission from the maritime industry. Do you have any, do you give a little bit of explanation about this point? I'm just wondering and I have been having interest in, yeah.
I think the logistics is very important, especially at the moment we are very keen about this reduction of CO2. And also the application of digitizations to coordinate. But I think, especially, I think second, we have to also consider about just a complementary relation between the just flight cargo flight.
Oh, yes.
And also, not only just maritime, also we have connected with just ground transportation as railways. After just a cargo at just a port, okay, we have to connect not only the surface, but also we have to consider ground transportation as just trains or just on track. Also, we have to optimize just all the just connection. For example, I think, for example, Amazon is very keen, very excellent in this kind of business. Okay, especially, and they also use this type of the technology, 5G or so on, AI also. But at the same time, their idea is very excellent. Sometimes, last 1 mile. A type of the connection by using the just drone. So sometimes this kind of logic is rated very political. Each national political specifics. And I personally, I think, especially we have to just complementary the relation between just flight cargo. As airplane industry also very keen about reduction of CO2 by using just bio or jet energies, for example. At the moment, that is very interesting point to consider about. So optimize. But at time, I think how can the create metrics to measure improvement of the environmental protections? Very difficult to evaluate. Just implement value of just environmental protection in cash. How much? That is a merit to reduction of CO2. Everybody know, even the children know the importance of the environmental protection, but we cannot discuss more detail because there is some barrier to discussion. I think that because we can connect. We can connect of the just cash and also the effect of protection of environment. Maybe we have to consider create some metrics to the measure of the and the value of the environmental protection. How much that is effective, I think. Of course, we have some credit carbon type of the trade market in Australia or in Europe. Yes, maybe I think regulation and that for the tax type of regulation also very important to make such kind of market. I think, yeah, we have to change our capital in change into the more because sometimes the human right also very important. Okay, we have to prevent the working of the just infant. Less than 12 years and the children working in just mining. So not only just on profit, but also we have to conserve the environment protection and also just human right. But we have to just proceed, not only just a discussion, we have to just integrate the company's performance in cash and also metrics to just implement our just SDG type of the just implement in cash. So metrics is very important to share our just discussion or ideas all over the world. I think it's a moment in the maybe finally we have to integrate in cash or cash flow, I think, to measure, to get to the optimum and equilibrium, national equilibrium, just a solution to discuss, I think. Okay, okay, thanks so much. So how about the next third and presentation? How about who is a third presenter? Are you? Okay.
Yeah, yes, I am. Okay, firstly, I would like to introduce myself briefly. My name is Eunmi Park from the Korea Research Institute of the Chemical Technology. We call it shortly in KRICT. Actually, as another the participant, I am in the PhD candidate as well in Chungnam National University, but not directly the science and technology policy. It's just only for the specialized in international politics and other insecurity. Then today's topic, I will take a presentation is the study of on the terminological heterogeneity in chemistry between South and North Korea. Briefly, I would like to share the research title a little bit. I'm trying to find out the differences between in chemical terminologies in between the South Korea and North Korea.
Okay.
Do you see the picture in first slide? Is the kind of science technology complex in Pyongyang of North Korea. Actually, I've never been to, but the North Korean government is very emphasized on science technology as other the industrial countries. It's a very unique point because there are very unique the background of the governmental and policies. That's why. I'll move on the contents of the materials. Firstly, I would like to share an overview.
Could you expand on just a picture? Could you expand because on? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Thanks so much.
Yep, no problem. This is a project overview. Actually, I'm explaining the research of the why I had to study about this topic. The following contents orders, but firstly, I would like to focus on the why, the reasons I would like to share mostly. In Korea and South Korean government wanted to keep the exchange with Korea in part of the political and non-political. Actually, science technology is kind of non-political. So that's why science and technology exchange and cooperation inter-Korean is very important for the consolidation and cooperation, even keeping peace in Korean Peninsula, because that is why it's non-political. Political is very severe and fierce and between the two Korean government sides. And then Korean Research Institute of the Chemical Technology, as the government research funded research institute, is one of leading institute in the tech and the produce of these exchanges between the North Korea and South Korea side for science and technology cooperation. From the support the Ministry of the Science and ICT, which is the relevant to the science and technology in Korea, the South Korean side. Actually, our government, especially from the ministry relevant for North Korea issue, especially from the Ministry of the Unification, they wanted to create some initiative for the Korean Peninsula peace, such as new economic guidance initiative on the Korean Peninsula and development inter-Korean relation through the activation inter-Korean exchanges. This is kind of created by Ministry of the Unification. Actually, those initiatives is not only from the one Ministry of the Unification, is the whole of the Ministry of the Korean government in South side. And second one, actually, I explain the formally. This is an exchange in the science technology. This is kind of the very supportive the industrial field, such as chemical industry part. As it is, in North Korea, it has a lot of the abundant resources like minerals and the other parts of these resources. So if after the unification in Korean Peninsula, we are expected to utilize the resources into the industrial field, I hope, and everyone hopes. And then actually, it's leading to my main research point and connected. We should understand each other in the technical system and to revolve these terms in heterogeneity, the differences between the terms in North Korea and South Korea are using now. So we should collecting their data and analyzing for the inter-Korean scientist exchange in the future. So that is why I started for this research topic. And methodology, I picked it three-step process. Firstly, terminology data collection from north side and south side. It's a kind of huge data in chemical terms. There's so many words, and then we have to collect all of them because we have to matching and analyzing between the two types of the term from the inter-Korean side. So I'll explain in detail later on. And second step is that we have to refine two terms for the matching and classification, such as if there are some duplications, synonyms, and spaces, we couldn't put some process into this kind of platform. We use the platform is KNIME. KNIME is the open source platform for the matching data. Actually, I need to get some support from expert in KNIME. It's a kind of matching analysis platform. That is why I need some support from experts. So I utilize the methodology from that kind of expert. And then after refining and processing of the terms data in inter-Korean chemical field, we put in the three steps. This is a very important part of our research. This is the qualification of the matching types, likely three types of the we are classified. AA, actually it contains of the details following slides. I will move on and I will explain more later on. Okay, before moving forward through my slides, why I choose the chemical terms analysis for my research, I would like to share. In North Korea, chemistry and especially chemical industry is very important and the main part of their North Korean economy. That's why they are all kind of the professionals, the collections likely, some economy, the geography, the Joseon. We call it not Korea in North Korea, they are Joseon. It's a little bit different. We are in Korea, Hanguk, but in North Korea, Joseon. Joseon is the ancient name of our Korean peninsula. We call it Joseon before. In North Korea, they are using still the word Joseon. But Joseon, the geography in encyclopedia, they are emphasized on these words and the definition of chemical industry. It is kind of very important in the North Korean industry, especially to boost national economy. And even in Kim Il-sung, it's kind of the former some president, not correctly president, but of this the leader of the North Korea. He also emphasized on the chemical industry as well, because the foundation for the strong economy is very required. And then they are also again the emphasis on the development of chemical industry is the to strengthening economic independence of their also emphasize on their the independent economy. That is why he focused on those emphasize on for to boost their economy. That is why. And then this is the third generation and leader of the North Korea, Kim Jong-un. He also annual address, New Year address all the time, the emphasis on chemical industry, chemical engineering, chemical industry, because in the North Korean government, as I mentioned before, they are focused on the strengthening the science technology in chemical field usually, because of their economy industrial base is very weak. So that is why through the strengthening the chemical industry, they would like to boost their national economy. Just reading this Kim Jong-un's New Year's address, I'm just highlighted some words likely chemical industry and the foundation manufacturing industry and 2.8 million allied enterprises. This is kind of some factories and institute like in Korean GRIs, but the type of the classification and features they're a little bit different, because in those Korea allied enterprises is the features of both the institutional, the kind of in research, and then the factories in manufacturing some products. The features it has both. So the enterprises in Korea, there are a lot of resources input there. Likely recently there are reconstruction of a fertilizer factory like Suncheon factory, and then again he emphasized on beyond light exercise enterprises again. Actually, Kim Jong-un New Year's 2 year and in 2020, 2001, he didn't make any statement for New Year address. I don't know, probably inside of some issues in there, so that he didn't make any statement last year and this year. And then this is a current state of North Korean, chemical engineering and the characteristics likely in, as I mentioned before, in North Korea, there are a lot of resources, mineral like coal. There are based on the coal, they would like to boost some science and technological outcomes likely the gasification from the coal. It means there is removed in some process from the liquid and some fuels from the coal. This is kind of very unique the technology in North Korea. We call it C1, relevantly. But I mean, from the coal, they are bring the gasification process to the liquid fuel. And those is the features in North Korea. They call it chemical engineering in technology, actually. And from the 3 steps in the process, the stages, they are try to boost their economy, light industry and agriculture as the central link of the industrial and structure. And then the North Korean style national economy, actually currently now is very weak, and its national economy kind of they compare with South. This is this very cynical, and they are very miserable because the North Korea is very economically very hard and difficult now. But still, the North Korean government wanted to accept caring about North Korean the people. They would like to through the science technology development and to boost its national economy. So there's kind of collapsed and failed because there were several events in early 1990s after Kim Il-sung's death. And then there have a lot of the faces with economy crisis from the globe, the events. Yeah, this is kind of failed in North Korean economy status now. So now it's North Korean in economy, the rebel currently likely to 60s and 70s of the South Korea, even I think the more worse, I think. Okay, I will explain the research some background. Actually there were some exchanges in science and scientists in North and South Korea, but with little bit very few. So this is exchanges. They're kind of to know each other, very useful tool. But this is kind of impossible for now. So before that, in chemistry field, we would like to study of the terminology in chemical field. Firstly, this is very meaningful. So we would like to find out how different between North and South they are using the chemical terms in between chemistry field. The actual differences, the severity is not high before my research project, but later on I will share the results a little bit, yes, high. Actually, general terms in 38% differences is quite not high between, but in technological terms, 66 point in science technology, a little bit high, not yes high. So because why? The fact of we have few exchanges and some political issues in the Korean Peninsula. That is why. And then the serious problem, the main point was that is continuity and usability and consistency of the terms. Because in North Korea, they are trying to refine their own words into real indigenous Koreans. Likely from they taking the chemical terms in English, they are into convert their own Korean words. So that is why after refining the movement in North Korea, we could find the differences in the chemical terms because South Korea usually in chemistry area use the terminology in the global trend. That is why difference is bigger and bigger now. And particularly, they have different background in science, technology, policies, and trend. In North Korea, is very deeply affected from the Russia, and before we call it as USSR, the former Russian country name before. They are very seriously affected after since Korean War. But in South Korea, we are very strongly supported from the United States, from even Japan, and North Korea and China as well. So in between the two Koreas, those backgrounds make some very severe the differences of the chemical terms in two Koreas now. And for the former research, I'm trying to find out there is any relevant research before in Korea. Actually, I can say yes, but or no, because their tryings was done before, but it's not the scientific and technological level, but that it was done for level of the textbook in secondary school or elementary school. Does the table, you can see that the Inter-Korean Chemical Term Research and Chemistry-Related Organization Society, actually in South Korea, they try to study on differences, the terms in chemical fields in North and South, but it's very specific, the area. And then another type of the papers in the relevant research topic is a long time ago it was done, but the level of the textbook usually. So as a result of development studies, we need to study more professionally and more in detail. We should study the terminology in chemistry field between South and North Korea. Do you remember that the steps of the processing of my research analysis? This slide is the first step. The first step was the data collection from the North and South. This is a part from the South firstly. We have so many chemical terms in Korea for professionals, especially from the KCS. KCS is the Korean Chemistry Society. This very famous and representative society in Korea. They have published one in chemical terms several times. And then the other society published once, but from the South part I collected and picked up is this chemical terms book from the KCS. And then this is North Korea. North Korea, it has barriers and many types of the terms book. Actually, I would like to explain the between and terms book and dictionary and accessories. Actually, glossary. I'm sorry. Dictionary means it has the definition. But terms book and glossary, they don't have a definition. So from the South side, I've picked up is from the KCS. This is the chemical terms book. It doesn't have definition. But from the North side, you could see some tables that from the chemical terminology data collection list in North Korea. I picked up the fourth one and fifth one, mirror 2.0 and civilization. This is a type of some glossary, not dictionary, but uniquely mirror has a definition. So that is why I chose the two in the, some materials and mirror 2.0 civilization. already unexplained about the which some materials from the South and North Korea for my research analysis is the South and Chemical Terms book from the KHS, and the North and Mirror 2.0 and Civilization. Actually, the South and Chemical Terms book, several editions it has, but I picked up 2 edition side. 2008 it was published. Actually, this is the last one. It's from the KHS fully edited revises. So that's why I picked one. But recently, 2014, they are revised again, very slight part of the terms book. So that is why we are combining those terms book for the South side. And North is Mirror 2.0. It has several fields, but I picked one, the chemical field from the Mirror 2.0, and then we utilize other fields as well. And Civilization it doesn't have any definition for words, but after Mirror 2.0 and matching with the South one in Chemical Terms book, we utilize again Civilization. Why I should utilize the Civilization again after Mirror 2.0 matching, I'll explain later on. Okay, so back to the why data collection. I chose from the South and North, and in South and KHS Chemical Terms book and North Mirror 2.0 and Civilization. Why? They are more representativeness because the selected data from the 2 Koreas, they have representativeness. So that's why I chose them. And then they have also professionalism, because Chemical Terms book and the North side of the Mirror 2.0 Civilization is very representative in materials and terminology book in North as well. That is why I picked up. And there are also have a level, it means expertise inside of the books, inside of a terminology in materials. That is why 3 points are very important to pick up those the materials for data collection for my research project. So yeah, let's move on second stage. Do you remember that the use the matching platform in 9? Actually, I have the expertise in 9, but I need some expertise skills. I get some support for that. We are using this platform after data collection for refining of those materials terms. Firstly, in North Korea books and the chemical terms, South Korea selected materials chemical terms book, after removing and duplicates errors, we derived from those materials by using platform 15 and 548 words from the book, and Mirror 2.0 only from the chemical field, so many words from there, and 70 and 645, quite many. And then utilizing those 9 platforms after data matching tool. So finally, we get a matching result. Actually, for matching, key value was English, because as I explained about the refinement of the movement in North Korea, in Korea, even in South and North, and a little bit different. So we have to, when using the platform, we have to standard tool when we bring the data into the platform. So that is why we have to select value with English words. So we, after matching results and chemical terms book and Mirror 2.0 and initial processing, was 4,088 cases we could get as a result and matching data. And the second processing, the additional matching with the civilization from the north side, and we could firstly 6,076 result value, the compare, and then actually after that we are trying to rematch again from the civilization materials. So we are manually and match again 5,705 cases again finally. So totally and north and south we could get matching result data 9,760 and removable duplicates and matching rate rated 63 point. Do you remember that? I'll move backwards in the slide. The total words from the south is more than the 9,030 and 989, and the even mirror from the 18,509 civilization more than in mirror twin 2.0, but we couldn't get only 9,760. I think you could think this result is quite low, but this is based on the big differences between terms in south and north. There's read those results in my opinion. And then matching the data, I'm going to analyze what kind of features the matching data has. Firstly, matching with mirror 2.0, 4,090 cases is only chemistry field. But the other sciences, technology field like physics and biology and medicine, and 2,685 cases. But comparing with the civilization, is totally matching with the civilization. Actually, civilization, it doesn't have any definition, just only with the English value, key value. So we have to rematch with the civilization, some materials in data, totally match it, and 3,056 cases. It has the features of the relevant in field, likely chemistry 698. In other parts is the relevant chemical field many. So we could get a conclusion from the matching data. Totally only for chemistry, 49% of the 4,842 cases. But in other fields, not relevant to other science and technology field, in 4,918 and 51%. And then after we are data processing, we should get expert group review. Firstly, from the KRICT, we are the review and for the qualification and matching and then definition. So we get some expert review, and uniquely we get support from the North Korean detector as well. They have a background in science technology. Expert A, she has the background of the science technology policy in North Korea, so we get some insight from her. And second expert B, he has some background in chemistry studies, so we could get very professional some review. So we are combinate and some print the research project. We couldn't get more detailed some research. Finally, this is the main point of my research project. After data collection and processing and matching, we have to classify in three types. Three types is the AA, and A small a, and AB. This kind of scientifically from the Korean study. So it is very basically understanding. AA SSD kindly they're perfectly matching, but AB is totally different. Yeah, inside of there a little bit differences to picture of the matching some worse data, but we needed to get removed some differences between terms if they are an AB types. So the results are the following slides. We get results AA around 3,500. All data of the 36%, quite a low. But AB is a little bit different, not totally different, and basically different of the chemical terms between Korea and South is 54%. So we needed some, study more. This is type of the matching of the chemical terms because it could be kind of obstacle exchanges between the North Korea and South Korea in scientific and technological experts. That's why we should study more later on. So this result is kind of as we expected, because after since the refinement movement in North Korea, differences has been intensified actually as it is. So we needed to refine the terms, especially for research in for chemical area, but the other scientific and chemical field as well as differences very intensified. So we needed to some collaboration with inside of the Korean Peninsula, even with Chinese and Japanese, we needed to get support and cooperation for removal of the differences, the chemical terms in North and South Korea. In the over and half of the result is the very different, the chemical terms. So yes, this is the very it was very meaningful. This is kind of the significant remarks when we processing and data analysis. Just to read it, I will move on my slide. Conclusion, for my project results, we needed to some review for tracked and North Korean scientists, because we don't have any review insight from North Korean experts. So we needed to. And then actually to remember that the matching data in not a whole of data collection materials. So the non-matching data, we should process again, and matching, we have to study more. The other part is lastly a kind of a proposal. When we studied in South side for chemical terms, it has a lot of errors and some kind of mistypo. The terminology was wrong. So we needed to refine again in Korean side again. Thank you very much for having me today. And yes, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. A very interesting presentation. Are there any question or comment to her presentation? No? How about this Professor Discantant, Professor? No. Okay. So if so, I have some question. And for example, what is the reason of the difference? Because we think in the global standard of science and technology areas, especially because we can access so many information, for example, internet or so on, okay, almost free.
Yes.
Charge.
Yes.
At the moment, please, do you have any question? No? Okay. So if so, I think what is the reason of the diverge of the from global standards?
Actually, I have some stereotype of the North Korean scientists before my research, actually. But through the research, I could find out there have some trend in North Korean science field. As I explained in through my slides, since the Korean word refinement in North Korea, they try to convert its chemical terms into their own indigenous Korean words. Likely, how can I explain? Even some chemical terms, likely catalyst in Korean chongme, they have in another words. That's why can be intensified of the differences between chemical terms in North and South Korea. And then the second one, through the research, I could know about the point they are in North Korea, and they have some change wave in science field. Because when I did science in North Korea, I knew they are trying to follow the global trend and through the internet. They have to find out some papers in global, some experts and papers as well. And then they are trying to change their professional words in a certain science and a technological field into following the global trends. So, but still in some science field, there have still is there is some differences the chemical terms words, because the young generation and scientific scientists in North Korea, they are trying to follow the global trend in science and technology. For old generation, they are still alive in North. They don't know the global trend. Do you know that North Korean is kind of a hermit kingdom? They are blocked all of the access of internet and some global, some trend and status. That is why they're very difficult to follow. And then they change their status, and there are kind of expertise of the knowledge of the scientific. So that's why those make it differences between North and South Korea.
How about because science and technology area is progressing very rapidly. So how about a gap of the quality of the standards of the knowledge? On both. So I'm not sure exactly.
Actually, in North Korea, in each field of the science technology, this gap is very different. The chemistry, especially in chemistry, the gap is very big. But ICT, I think, in my opinion, in personal opinion, it's very gap is very little and low, because I heard that the North scientists published papers in SCI and journals. So I shocked, actually. There are some North scientists participated, and some conferences, international conferences, and published papers especially in ICT. Do you know those Korean scientists in ICT is very famous in hacking? They have some kind of expertise.
Yes, recently the Chinese paper is a very interesting and very strong. Sometimes I just review some paper of the Chinese people's papers. Their quality is very nice. Recently very nice. And also, this is just my comments. And for example, or maybe not only just on public funding, but so maybe in the future you have better concern about the private investment. And the next is not only just on chemical industry, but also maybe you have to more focus on just human resources in North Korean people's just a standard of science technology. And not also because in the future, maybe the material is not so important. I think human resources is more important to exchange. Anyways, exchange between both countries. And also, maybe CO2 reduction also be important in the future topic for both countries, because sometimes China or some country not so interested in the reduction of CO2.
Yes.
Maybe in the future you have also communicate in reduction of CO2 also. This is just my comments. Thanks so much. And
Thank you for your complimentary.
Thanks so much. Very sorry that waiting for the fourth presenter. Okay, are you ready to make presentation?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Young-Gyun, and I come from Taiwan. This year I plan to go to the Southern Korea, but COVID-19. So I'm so happy to present my paper. My paper title is relationship between learning from the failed innovation and the front innovation performance, and I explore the different sources influence and the constructed complete and the knowledge assertive capacity. And I'm a professor in Donghai University Department of Business Administration. So my agenda is the first introduction. Second is the serial investment and research hypothesis. Third part is methodology, and the next session is the empirical result, and final I will get some conclusion and discussions. Introduction. We know innovation has become a very important source of the competitive advantage for every organization, include firm or country. So, but we know most of the innovation are fails. But there is this study to investigate the relationship learning from the fail and the innovation performance. And one hand, the learn other friend fail experience maybe is the way to enhancing innovation performance. Another, I want to know whose condition can improve the effect of the failed learning are the important issues. So this is my research background. And so this study tried to integrate many different management theory, including organization learning, organization behavior, knowledge assertive capacity, and the innovation management in order to discuss the relationships between learning from fails and innovation performance. So I posed the two purposes in this study. First is then there is a difference between the effect of the learning from own friend fail and the other friend fail. Second is the investment where both the knowledge assertive capacity and the constructed conflict, this organizational climate had the moderating effect of the relationship between learning fails and the effect innovation. So the theory we talk about organization learning and the fail learning. Students provide the viewpoint of the intelligent fail to expand learning from field and maybe innovation field. So this can we learn other we learn the field innovation, maybe can promote learning about the innovation. So failure is the learning process, and maybe is the keep learning for the future success. So organization should establish the learning system and learn how to lead the failure to intelligent failure. So some study believe intelligent failure can use to be a strategy to promote innovation. So my first hypothesis is learning from often failure will increase prevent innovation performance. Organization series believe the organization not only develop knowledge from their past experience, but also should learn the other organization. So I think the learning from the failure experience, some study have paid attention to study the learning from the failure of the other. So this is very important for the learning transfer. So alternative learning enables people or maybe a fun to learn from other the wide range of experience in a short time. So my second hypothesis, learning from other fun failure will increase the fun innovation in performance. Constructed, conflicted, and failure learning. Discussion about the failure will bring harmless risk interpersonal relationship. So research also finds constructed conflict in the organizational climate can promote the positive emotion. This emotion can transfer and increase the work involvement and creative. So another say the failure experience in the constructed conflicted organization climate maybe can open their effort to the failure experience of the sense making. Learning from the failure experience maybe provide the intelligent stimulation. So my second and third hypothesis, organization classmates of the conflict will have the positive moderating effect of the relationship between learning from the fails and the front innovation performance. Like because I divide the learning from fail into the only fun and the other fun. So the hypothesis 3A, hypothesis 3B. Analogy, assumptive capacity, and the failure learning. And we know the knowledge assumptive capacity has into the research field of the technology management or the organization learning, and has been applied to the different level of the analysis about the people or group or company or country. So how to develop own observative capacity in order to increase innovation. although has been no research to explore where knowledge absorptive capacity will affect the relation between learning failure experience and innovation proposal. But I believe the learning from the own or other failure experience will expect to have a better learning effect. So this is my hypothesis 4. Knowledge absorptive capacity will have the positive moderating effect of the relation between learning from the failure experience and the from innovation performance. So this is my research framework. We can see the left side is the learning from the failure experience, include divide on fun failure and other fun failure, and to discuss impact the innovation performance. Innovation performance, I divide the product innovation and the process innovation. And the two moderating effect is the constructive conflict and the knowledge absorptive capacity. This is my research framework. So my research population is the list in Taiwan. List and the OTC firm belong to the electronics. Total is 942 firms, include the 6 sub-industries: semiconductor, computer, electronic, telecomputer, and also and data collection is we use the questionnaire were mailed to the firm CEO on October last year. We got the valid sample is 105. Response rate is 11.15%. Is a little low. And this is the population and the sample distribution. I use the test of the goodness of fit. High square is 0.3307. So my sample, the destruction is not significant different population. So my sample is good. It's fit. And variable measurable, I reference some study and learning failure. We when found the own failure, found the other failure. This is my questionnaire item, and this is constructed, completed this item. And the innovation, I divide the production and the process innovation. So empirical result is we can see the correlation. The 6 variable correlation is high, so I must use the good statistics to measure. And this my research method, the reliability and the validity. I use the statistic method is the PLS SEN, partial least square, and the structural equation modeling. And I used this PLS SEN method. I got the internal consistent reliability. Converge alpha more than the 0.828, and the competitive reliability more than 0.897. Validity convergent compatibility, we can see the ABE and the discriminability. We use the STMT. So I think my research model, the reliability and the validity complete. Is fit. How? So this is my I use the PLS SN method, and this is depth is variable specialty level. We can see if the innovation performance is production innovation. We can see if the learning from the own firm field will increase the firm product innovation. And if learning other firm failure experience will increase the process innovation. And another modified variable, we see the about the knowledge assertive capacity and the constructive complete. But I focus on this moderating effect. We can see if the firm has the constructive conflict organization climate, and learning from the other firm failure experience also will increase the product innovation. But is another, we can see the another, if the innovation performance is the process innovation, knowledge absorptive capacity, and learning from the other firm failure will positive moderate of the between the relationship. So we can see the moderating effect. Learning from the other firm failure is very important. If your firm has a constructive conflict, or if your firm has a strong knowledge absorptive capacity. This is my research empirical. So the conclusion is that there is the significant difference between the effect of the learning from the own firm failure, or learning on failure will increase the firm product innovation, but then other firm failure will improve the firm's process innovation. It's different. Second conclusion is the organization climate of the constructive conflict will have the positive moderating of the relationship between learning other firms failure and the firm's product innovation. Knowledge absorptive ability will have the positive moderating effect of the relationship between learning other firms failure and the firm process innovation. So the discussion is field study take the field learning as a main research actor. This study fills the research gap by explore the impact of the field experience on the innovation, and the construct to the literature on the organization innovation, whether the learning from the other firm failure experience will be more effective. That is, a different organization, another organization learning is very important. And the argue of the compared failed learning experience from the different sources provide the theoretical contribution to the organization learning. And the second, this study explore the impact of how to shift in learning from the failure experience. This study purpose the importance of the constructed conflict. Or in order to improve the effectiveness of the learning failure experience, the organization must establish an organization character of the constructed conflict that can positively improve the effect. The literature rarely discuss how to transfer failed experience into the condition for the success innovation. This study adopts the knowledge assumptive capacity and explore whether the level of the knowledge assumptive capacity can affect the relationship between the failed innovation experience and the innovation performance. This is my presentation. Welcome to Taiwan. Okay, thank you.
Well, thanks so much. Very interesting and also excellent presentation. Are there any question or comment? If so, or may I ask?
Welcome, comment.
First of all, and especially I'm using table 5 and on table 5. Yes. And also, this is also related conclusion, but the table 5, please.
5.
Table 5.
Table 5.
Yes.
Table 5.
Table 5.
Okay. This one.
No. Table
Not
5.
this.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Yeah. Table. This is table 5 or page 5. Table 5.
Okay, thanks so much. Yeah. So I think this is very interesting and result. For example, for just on product innovations on just on own failure is a very important for process innovations, and other failures are important. What's the reason behind this opposite result?
And I think if you're learning the own failure, because the product innovation includes some create or other fun maybe cannot maybe I think the product innovation is different process innovation, but if you learn the other fun you just can improve the process innovation. Product innovation is very, I think that is very important, and you need to the high creative and not. I think it's not easy to learn from the other one.
Okay, but I think, for example, in case of the product case, we can get some information from just a patent, so but maybe the to getting the process information process innovation is very difficult to get.
Yeah.
So in this case, is how can get the failure or success of the process innovation of the other companies?
And I just use the survey. I use the survey to get some data, but I use the 7-point Likert scale, and so maybe this my paper need to explain more explain to how.
Okay. Next is just on a comparison between just on a concept conflict
Yeah.
And for just a process innovation, and also the just knowledge, absorptive capacity rate is on process innovation. What is the what's the reason behind this difference?
This different.
Yeah.
And because if you want to learn the other firm innovation failure experience, your organization must establish the constructive conflict because their the innovation direction may be different from your firm, and the organization culture is different. So you must establish the constructive conflict. Another knowledge absorptive capacity. If your organization has very strong, so you can learn other organization the knowledge. You can enhance your innovation is better. So I must guys drop some the other series to explain why I know my empirical conclusion is got this, but I need to the how to improve why my conclusion is some different based on the innovation performance, product innovation, and the process innovation. Yeah. Thank you.
What is the measurement of the capacity, absorptive capacities? Because what is a measurement of the?
I use the 16 items to describe the knowledge absorptive capacity. That this research construct I divide four variable, but I think I missed the variable measurable. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. I have another 2 points, and one is of course failure. Learning of failure is very important to modify our direction for next stage. But sometimes, of course, learning failure is very important to prevent the same failures. Okay, but still, it's not like the just passive, not active learning for next frontier. Just prevent the failure. So what is your just implication for just modify or direction or to searching the successful result rather than just prevent the just failures?
Yeah, but I think my research results is very interesting, but I think some to discuss more detail. Thank you. Your opinions. Yeah.
And also, next is what is I think also in my country, Japan, there are some professor very famous in these areas. For example, he says just a failure knowledge or failure engineering. But what is your unique point or your originality of these studies different to another similar type of the studies?
Yeah. In Taiwan, I I'm learning I chose this topic. I focus on the electronic industry in Taiwan. You know the Taiwan semiconductor and the other is very strong.
Yes.
So my student are from the electronic firm, maybe CEO. Yeah. So because I am a chief, I'm a director of the EMBA program in Donghai University. So so I many EMBA student. They are CEO in the firm, and they tell me the field innovation and the field how to learn field experience is very important.
Yes.
So we must take the effort to the innovation. Maybe field is not you don't care this innovation is success or fail. A fail maybe can create a next fail and a next success product.
Yes. Yeah, especially semiconductors, investment money is very huge. Yes, so prevent success is prevents failure is very important for this kind of things. Yeah.
So I think this topic is my student tell me. So I think it's very interesting. So I do some study. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much. So
okay,
thanks so much. Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Right.
Yeah, thank you. This is a true good direction for the research. I think the investigate Taiwan, Southern Korea or Japan, the same very interesting. I have the questionnaire item. Maybe I can do some research across the different countries. So the second the still very interesting research. Maybe I can I can do this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So you saw the this the moderated effect. Yeah. How to your answer is how to explain this moderated effect.
Yeah, he want
yeah.
your question.
Okay.
Okay, so could you explain about this model 3? Okay, and the model 3. Yeah.
Moderated. Just explain. If a company has a strong constructive conflict and will improve, you learn from other company innovation fail experience. It will improve the product innovation. But I think if you want to improve the process innovation, you need to organization have the strong knowledge absorptive capacity, and the same you learn from the other friend valuable experience will improve the process innovation. Yeah, I don't know. My answer is correct for your question. Because
sorry,
the sound is not, my internet is not very good.
How about on this part? Okay, for knowledge absorption capacity modeling effect. This is just on significant is both. Okay, in the model 3, everything both product and also process innovation in both. Okay, here. How about at this point? Did you discuss about this point? Yeah, knowledge absorption capacity. Yeah, this is also effective because these are you change the color of the these. Okay.
Yeah. So but, you see that
this is just black.
Oh, the black. Oh.
Why?
Oh, black. Is black. The moderated effect is not significant. So I have a no to explain this the not significant in my paper.
Okay.
So maybe I want to I thank you for your suggestion.
So you just this is just on knowledge absorption capacity. This is effective for both as a model 3.
Oh, both. Oh, the both. Yeah. The both. If a firm constructed complete and the high knowledge absorptive capacity, maybe I because I have to learn this research, maybe I next paper I can combine constructed complete and the knowledge absorptive capacity. Discuss the two moderating variable to maybe will include the innovation performance.
Okay. But of course, this is just on objective result, but it's not like that because smart person can everything. It's not like this common sense.
Yeah. Oh, the common sense. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe for you have to better much better the unique implication from this your finding or analysis result, I think.
Okay.
If so, yeah, I want to just conclude and this session. Okay. I think the four presentation are very interesting and very active. And a professor, Professor King.
I have just a quick question.
Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Eunmi talk.
My question is here. It is really interesting when I watch your the presentation, and then just a simple question is that if you instead of applying one-on-one matching process, if you apply the additional level, like the upper level.
What kind of upper level I have to the processed for data refinement? Professor Park, would you explain one more?
No,
because
yeah,
I couldn't get it.
I actually tried about that. So my question is that
how is
chemical.
Chemical.
It's like upper level group, like a broad concept. If you use broad concept first, and that control the detailed level, then perhaps you may find like a chemical and then like a repetitiveness between the North Korean and the South Korean. Then maybe your kind of problems much better captured to match one-on-one. So just a suggestion with regard to your, instead of just one-to-one match or one-on-one match, but if you use just the first control of the upper level, like a broad keyword, then it might be more latent concepts can be captured or grouped.
In-depth one, yeah.
In-depth, just my suggestion. And you think about that. That is my question.
Thank you very much for your comment. I'm sorry. At firstly, I don't get your the point. Thank you. I'm trying.
How about the discussant, Professor Moon? Do you have any comment questions for all presentations?
For the last presentation, I'm curious that if we say the moderating effect is significant when the main effect is not significant. For in the table 5, for I guess the model 2 for the product innovation, the main effect is not significant, but the interaction terms was significant. So can we interpret the moderating effect in the case?
Yeah. So you
did you understand his question? Yeah.
You said
yeah, pretty sure is a table 5. Pretty sure table 5. Table 5, yes.
Okay.
Model 2 for the product innovation. In that the moderating variable number 1, the constructive conflict is not significant, but the interaction terms only significant for the moderating effect number 2, right? So can you interpret the interaction terms is significant in that case?
So I think you know this is the moderating effect is significant, but this construct conflict is not significant. So I think something each other if the different how do I explain this? Okay, so I don't know how to respond. So this
curious.
Yeah. But it's a good question. But I can respond to your question. Yeah, I think it's a good question. I must study. Maybe got some serial or maybe the statistic to find how to explain this. I think the constructive conflict is very important, but it must combine something that that then will improve the product innovation. But just the constructive conflict, it cannot improve the product innovation. But because this my paper is focused on the moderating effect, not moderating variable. So this the I don't explain more explain about the two variable. I just my focus on the two major variable, and this is my second focus. So this I have no more like experience. Maybe this is a can, but you know the paper is not it is not long, so I just focus on the some I care the issue.
Okay.
Sparsi,
Thanks so
can
much.
you? Okay.
Thank you, Professor, for your
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know deeply, but I think this is just an independent variable, okay? But
Yeah.
a combination of
Yeah.
also other, not only the constructive conflict, but also other, and just a variable or parameter sometimes. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a difference between both sides.
Yeah. So this, but in the statistic, I use the PLS SEM. The four variable are the same. But in my topic, I focus the first two variable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much. How about another person? How about another person? A comment or a question? Is this okay? So still we have the another more than 5 minutes. So if there are no question or comment, additional question or comment, we want just conclude on this section. Okay. So we get to the four very excellent and interesting presentation, including the Taiwan's, not only Koreans, but also Taiwan's presentation. So we can exchange some information very interesting. And also we want to continue our discussion from these opportunities. Thanks so much for your very constructive support or contribution. Thanks so much. Okay. So we are just finished of this session. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.